But you know, PC gamers, if this whole fiasco has taught me anything, it's that they are the worst. I always thought it was the console fanboy versus console fanboy thing that was just so childish and petulant. But now, Epic has opened my eyes to see this whole time that it was the PC master race. Boy, oh boy, Epic just does not stop, do they? They just love pissing off PC gamers.
Oh boy, here we have the ass cheeks of an incredibly stupid console peasant. Luckily, I've packed my extra thick leather belt, because the spanking I'm about to give you is astronomical. After all, it's what I do. I spank the stupid console peasants who simply do not understand PC gaming and decide to spread misinformation. I mean, could you imagine sitting here and cheerleading for Epic Games, thinking that angering the PC community is a good thing? But no, clearly when the console companies, when they anger console gamers are justified, but when PC gamers are screwed over, they're just spoiled brats.
I mean, first Borderlands was going to be an exclusive, or timed exclusive.
Why do you say was? It still is a timed exclusive.
Then there was rumors of Red Dead Redemption, and now the new Ghost Recon game? Oh my god, man. You are just so sadistic, aren't you? You just love torturing these PC gamers.
It's funny how console peasants are taking this as some sort of victory, because they know deep down inside things over here on the PC are 100 times better. You know, we got things like mods, upgradability, the largest catalog of games, mouse and keyboard support, and support for basically every controller in existence, emulators, 144 FPS. Things here are great. And then the Fire Nation decided to attack, or I mean Epic. Console peasants have been fed up with the fact that the PC is objectively better. And so now they're using the Epic Game Store as leverage to make PC gamers feel bad. Bad that the concept of exclusivity is infecting the PC. Typical console peasants, here we are, concerned about the fact that they have to pay for online, and we're watching their backs, and in return, what do? When something bad happens on the PC, they rub it in our faces.
You know, being mainly a gamer on PlayStation or consoles,
let's keep it that way.
For me, this is a non-issue. Like, I don't care either way because I'm getting my game digitally from PlayStation or a physical copy from Amazon or somewhere like that. But you know, PC gamers, if this whole fiasco has taught me anything, it's that they are the worst. I always thought it was the console fanboy versus console fanboy thing that was just so childish and petulant. But now, Epic has opened my eyes to see this whole time that it was the PC master race.
Hold on. Let me get this straight. So PC gamers are worse than console gamers because when anti-consumer practices are brought onto the platform, we speak up against them. That makes PC gamers worse than console gamers. Even though console gamers sit there and pay for online and are grateful for it, even though console gamers sit there when their games run at mediocre levels to plain bad and think it's okay. So if accepting what's bad for the consumer and embracing it makes you better than someone who stands up against it, then fuck, yeah, I mean, I guess I'm bad, and I'm proud of it.
I mean, as if the PC Master Race meme was a dead giveaway, but yeah, I mean, the PC players have become so childish. And look, I'm not just someone who picks a side and sticks to it.
Except when you pick the side of the corporation fucking everyone over.
I do my due diligence. I research, I investigate, and I try to come up with my opinion based on logic and reasoning.
A console peasant doing research.
Imagine my shock.
Shut the fuck up. Have you done any research? Even at the date of this video, you probably wouldn't have made it. let's bring up how far it's gone with Epic Games so far. They've single-handedly killed crowdfunding by paying to make Shenmue an exclusive to the Epic Games Store and screwing over all the people who crowdfunded the game. They had a sale, a mega sale, but since they never invested in making their storefront any good, if people bought too many games on the mega sale, their accounts were locked or banned. Point being, the Epic Games Store is a failure of a storefront. You know, when there's a sheet with check boxes, the Epic Games Store has like 2 boxes out of 20 checked off. And it was even worse in May, so I have no idea why the fuck you made this video. Console peasant doing research. That's like saying Ben Shapiro actually did research about climate change.
So let's say, for the sake of argument, that all of the water levels around the world rise by let's say 5 feet over the next 100 years, say 10 feet by the next 100 years, and it puts all the low-lying areas on the coast underwater, right? Which, let's say all of that happens. You think that people aren't going to just sell their homes and move?
And when I was doing this research to see what all the hatred was about, I couldn't really find anything. I mean, sometimes it's something as petty as people just not wanting another password, or it could be something so outrageously ridiculous like they're installing malware on your computer.
Whoa, wait. What's so petty about that second one? Do you know what malware is? I mean, you're playing Overwatch on a PS4. Blech. So you probably don't know, but you're straight up lying. Clearly, people have an issue with the store itself. It sucks. Nobody wants to use it. They didn't even have a shopping cart. You couldn't even message your friends when the thing first launched. It's missing dozens upon dozens of features that are integral to a lot of PC gamers, because whether you like to believe it or not, Steam popularized the PC gaming platform. They made it pretty mainstream with all the features that they've been adding over the years.
Like, okay, I'm gonna try to keep this video as fluid as possible. It's gonna be hard because there's a lot I have to say. I got all these thoughts running through my head, so it's gonna be hard to stay on track.
I've yet to meet a single console peasant who can actually keep track of any topics. Usually they'll switch from one to the other, they'll stutter over their words, they'll fumble over things. Their videos will be about, 10 minutes longer than they need to be because they constantly repeat themselves. They're not very smart. They have a little bit of soy dripping from their lip. But maybe you'll be different. Maybe there's a chance that...
But you know what? Choo choo, I'm gonna try anyways. Choo 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 choo.
What? Choo choo? A grown man saying choo... Continue the fucking video.
But these are just some of the reasons. Some other people say Epic doesn't have the features of Steam. Steam has existed for like an eternity, and Epic is essentially new. So yeah, I mean, that's to be understandable.
Did anyone expect Epic Games to launch as fully fledged as Steam? No. Did anyone expect the Epic Games Store to launch as fully fledged as, say, Discord Store or Origin? Absolutely. There's no excuse at launch to have no messaging system, no shopping cart, no web browser, no cloud saves, no ability to use an Xbox controller. It's absolutely disgraceful. So yeah, I think it's fair to say people had a huge problem with it. If you're gonna have exclusive games on your store as the only selling point and never take time to actually improve your store, to actually legitimately compete with other storefronts by making it unique and different, people aren't going to want to use it. But things over there on the console, you guys deal with one store, one company, one marketplace. There's no way you would understand exactly what we've seen or the choices we have and what we have to compare the Epic Games Store to.
And some of the reasons, some are pretty extreme. Like, I actually saw one person say it's because Tencent, which it's not even the owner, like Tim Sweeney, I believe, is the majority owner of Epic. So yeah, people using that as an argument it's just 100% echo chamberish. It's just one person said it and now it keeps getting repeated.
The majority ownership doesn't really have anything to do with Tencent's ability to gather people's information and give it to the Chinese government. I mean, 40% is nothing to laugh about either. That's slightly less than half of what Tim Sweeney owns. Now, there is no evidence really to back up that Tencent is gathering people's information. However, they have been known to do it in the past, so people's concerns were pretty fucking justified. And Tim Sweeney having a slightly higher ownership of Epic Games doesn't mean jack shit. Tim Sweeney's promises don't mean jack shit either. Keep that in mind.
But nonetheless, these people do believe that Tencent, even though they're not really affiliated with Epic, is starving Muslims or they have hard labor camps, basically comparing it to the whole Holocaust thing. Yeah, that's pretty fucking sick and twisted.
Okay, a silly Reddit post that paints Tencent as a bigger thing than it really is. Which is funny though, because Tencent does own 5% of Reddit, but this doesn't disprove the fact that Tencent has gathered people's personal information in the past, and have given that information to the Chinese government. Why the hell should anyone trust Tencent? You'd have to give us a good reason, other than a silly Reddit post which we can dismiss.
Nonetheless, when it comes to outrage culture, there is no end. People will come up, they will dig for days until they're at the center of the earth trying to find anything they can. Correlate these evil demons with a company that is essentially harmless.
I'm not going to disagree with you about the whole outrage culture. People have a tendency to search for things that don't exist, all in order to paint something as evil. However, you don't have to search far and wide just to see exactly how Tencent affiliates with the Chinese government in the past and the present. But if you want to take the word of Epic Games, you know, when 40% of them is owned by Tencent, then by all means, go ahead.
But that's just to give you a taste of some of the reasons. I mean, I don't want to sit here and act like people are just saying, hey, Epic sucks for the sake of saying they suck. No, there's people out there who have reasons, albeit pretty petulant reasons.
One of the first concerns you brought up was about how the Chinese government may be using Tencent to gather information through the Epic Games Store. If you ask me, when you have a controversy that hot on your storefront, I wouldn't exactly consider it petty.
Nonetheless, they have their reasons. Like Epic not having as many features as Steam. Okay, so what features does Steam have that Epic doesn't have? Some people say ratings and reviews. And to this, I'm like, does it really matter if you see a game's reviews or ratings?
Absolutely. When you click on a game's page and the first thing you see on the front are user reviews with people's first-hand experience telling you if there are any issues with the game or whether it's good or not, that is incredibly helpful, a time saver, and shows how interactive the community is.
Especially when you motherfuckers sit here and review bomb games just because they pissed you off.
Well, you claim to have done research, so you should know that Steam has filtered out what they deem to be review bombs, and you can just toggle that off in the settings. If you want them filtered, you can have them filtered. If you want them unfiltered to see the review bombs, you can see that too.
Like, who does that childish shit? I mean, I could understand if you were actually review bombing the game because it sucked or something like that.
Now you're just getting into the ethics of review bombing, which is a whole different subject, even though you promised you would stay on topic. But review bombing doesn't take away from the fact that user reviews on the Steam page are incredibly useful and helpful. People may review bomb games, sure, that happens. That doesn't mean there aren't countless amounts of helpful reviews on that page.
But they did this a long time ago with GTA. Because it was something about the modding community, they're removing mods or something like that. And, you know, Take-Two came out and said, you know what, fuck these childish motherfuckers. Just give them their way.
Wow, well, with an example like that, you've just convinced me that review bombing works. I mean, you were trying to make it seem as if it's a petty thing, but remember, Take-Two was trying to take away the essential modding tool for GTA 5. They were trying to make it so you couldn't mod GTA 5. One of the biggest selling points to GTA on the PC. They were trying to take that away. So they review bombed until Take-Two changed their fucking minds. Almost as if consumer backlash works. Almost as if sitting there and taking a corporation's bullshit and doing nothing about it doesn't get you anywhere, huh? But maybe what they say about console gamers is true. Maybe they really do just sit there and take it up the ass. I mean, you're taking my belt directly to your ass cheeks without doing anything about it, so.
And that's essentially what this is. PC players just cry and cry until they get their way, even though it's something petty. It's not like it's something morally wrong or it's something like that. It's a petty things. But, you know, PC players, they review bomb Borderlands.
Good.
They review bombed Metro Exodus or one of the Metro games, even though it still sold very well. So their attempts to dissuade buyers was absolutely futile.
It sold well for the Epic Games Store. But are we going to sit here and pretend that the numbers wouldn't be much, much higher if the game was on Steam?
But it just shows the immaturity these PC players have. And you wonder why Epic doesn't really have reviews. And you wonder why that may entice developers, because they don't have to worry about you entitled PC babies going and review bombing their game just because they said something that pissed you off or they did something that pissed you off. It's like it doesn't really show the quality of their game.
Holy shit! Could you imagine? Could you imagine being such a corporate slave, such a corporate shill, that you advocate for developers to go to a storefront where there are no reviews, so that they don't have a place where they can receive consumer backlash for their anti-consumer bullshit? You are advocating for companies to do anti-consumer things and get away with it. On top of that, you find it immature of PC gamers to stand up to people like Take-Two when they decide to take away modding from GTA 5. You find that immature. But I bet you feel so proud standing up for the poor little corporation that can't defend itself.
I mean, people will probably go and review bomb Borderlands 3 on PC or wherever, Metacritic, wherever. They will go and do it and they will give it a fucking 1 or 2, even though Borderlands 3 will probably be like an 8. I mean, it's going to be Borderlands.
We're getting close to 5 minutes into your video and you still haven't dropped the subject of review bombing. You're still on this subject. You're trying to justify their lack of having review scores only because on Steam you see people review bomb games. This is incredibly stupid. You support the idea of a storefront having less features, less consumer freedom, less consumer choice.
And in the end, reviews isn't even really that important, because if you pre-ordered the game, well, you're fucked anyways.
Then don't pre-order games.
And if you're being a responsible buyer, you're going to look around at actual reviews. You're going to look around at other people's opinions. You're not going to rely on people on the forum or whatever you want to call it, because they will do exactly what you do, review bomb shit. And that basically guarantees the reviews is useless.
So amongst all of those review bombs, amongst all those purposefully negative scores, you don't think you would find a handful, at least a small handful, of useful reviews? People who are actually critiquing the game and telling you whether it's worth your time or not. You don't think those people are still out there?
I mean, do you not see the hypocrisy in you review bombing something and then acting like reviews actually mean something? Like, there's been plenty of products on Amazon where I got that was like 2 or 3 stars and they worked fine for me. It's just people didn't know how to use them. So if you actually use a star rating system as a actual guide for what's quality and what's not, you're an idiot. That simple.
Way to dedicate most of your video's time to a single fucking subject. Holy shit.
And I mean, it's not like there isn't other platforms to discuss games or review games. I mean, there's plenty of neutral YouTubers who don't pocket money from developers and they actually give honest reviews of games. What's wrong with those?
Yeah, okay, but not every single one of those YouTubers will review every single game on Steam, or on the PC for that matter, which just goes to show you that having user reviews on your storefront is incredibly useful, you dumbass.
Again, it's just a petty reason, people trying to find whatever reason they can. And look, some people complain about it not having forums, and quite honestly, do you really need them when you have plenty of other places to discuss games? You have GameFAQs, Reddit, you have Discord. Like, really, does it really freaking matter?
A huge chunk, and I mean a huge fucking chunk of those sites just link back to Steam forums, because Steam forums are incredibly popular, because that's where a lot of users of this platform gather to discuss things. The concept of Steam is to have an all-in-one storefront. A place where you can access a web browser, a place where you can access user reviews, a place where you can visit forums, a place where you can host voice chats and create events for people to join. They're trying to give you the most use you can out of a storefront. They're trying to create a single tool. It's ambitious. And the fact that Epic Games Store doesn't even want to try, they don't even want to make their storefront enticing, goes to show you that they really don't care about the quality of what they're providing you. They just care about locking games exclusive and segregating communities. But you'll sit there and say, well, I don't care. Of course you don't care. You primarily play on console. You don't understand the needs of the PC community. You don't understand the PC community. You're an outsider. You probably shouldn't have made this video.
Some other people complain about the refund policy, but I looked and the refund policy is basically the same, which, I mean, if developers didn't put unfinished pieces of shit on Steam, you wouldn't need this refund policy, now would you?
How fucking stupid are you? Are you purposefully this stupid, or do you not realize that you're stupid? Well, that's the thing about stupid people. They don't know that they're stupid. The refund policy doesn't exist for just bad games. The refund policy exists if games just don't work for you, if there's compatibility issues, if it's too buggy or glitchy, you can refund it. Because the way you worded that, it seems to me like you think the refund policy solely exists because Steam is plagued with bad games.
Because in all my time of buying games, only once did I really feel like I wanted a refund, and that was with No Man's Sky. But for the most part, expecting a refund after you bought a game, unless that game does not work, really. I mean, really. But yeah, the refund policy on both of them are exactly the same. So that was a complaint at first, but it's no longer a complaint anymore.
Okay, so people complained about it before, because it was an issue before. So they had a legit reason to not like the Epic Games Store. You're not making your point any better.
And now we move on to the biggest complaint, and probably the most ignorant complaint. Epic is stealing your information and willingly selling it to third-party companies. Now, what I find funny about this is just recently Facebook came out and said that they were letting third parties do this willingly. They were letting them collect information from you, and Facebook themselves was selling your information.
Isn't this basically you talking about Tencent again? But no, if Epic Games Store is doing it or was doing it, you would be correct in saying they're not the only ones. I fail, however, to see how that means it's okay. I fail to see how that justifies it and that we shouldn't even complain about it. I really hope you're not trying to make the point you're making.
So all these people that's complaining about Epic maybe stealing your information and selling it or putting malware on your computer, I want you to stop and ask yourself, are they the only ones that would actually try to take your information and resell it? Because if you're using Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, any other website that asks you to put in personal information, you are a hypocrite. Because even Steam, now I want you to go read the privacy policy of Steam. If you go look at their privacy policy, it clearly says that they will collect your information and they will store it on file even after you delete your account unless you specifically tell them to delete it or it's not applicable by law. This isn't me making it up. You go read their privacy policy. You will see this.
Yes, it's no secret. Steam stores your personal info, even after deletion, but to a degree. And you know what? I'm not okay with it. I think it's bullshit. If I terminate my account, I think it should be permanently removed. I don't like my personal info gathered and kept forever, which they actually don't, by the way. Not every little bit of information about you is kept forever. Now, I don't exactly see any evidence to support that they sell that information about you. And to be fair, I don't see any evidence that Epic sells your information either. However, of these two, one of them has nearly half of the ownership belonging to Tencent. Keep that in mind. I'm not justifying Steam storing your info, but if we were to compare the two, there's definitely a reason why people are far more concerned about Epic Games.
Now, of course, they could change it any time and basically void everything I'm saying, but my point is, they do the same shit Epic's doing.
No, it's not the fucking same. Stop saying it's the same. I know you want to say it's the same, so you have this whole hypocrisy thing to use against PC gamers, but one of them has ties with Tencent.
I mean, you're giving them your credit card information willingly, so they wouldn't install malware, malware.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
It's malware. Malware.
Your credit card information, considering if you buy games from them, they're willingly giving it to you. If you think they're installing malware, you are a fucking idiot. They have Fortnite. This game is making them billions of dollars. They don't need the $1,000 you have in your bank account, buddy. I promise you they don't need that money. I swear by it, they don't need that money. They're making billions all Fortnite.
So why is it that Epic Games has a company like Tencent attached to them?
So yeah, that's all I'm going to say about the malware thing, because at the end of the day, it's a pointless discussion, because every product that is free, it's free for a reason. They're making money from selling your information to advertisers or third-party companies that do analytics or stuff like that. They're doing it because you are the product, and that's how it is free. Like, if you think this is exclusive to Epic, you might as well just turn off your internet, go live in a tiny little square somewhere underground, and never ever use the internet again, because it's a scary, scary place. Just go live in solitude somewhere. It's like, really, that's all you can do if you're that scared.
Talk about the biggest non-point in history. Holy shit.
But you know, at the end of the day, like I said, it doesn't affect me because I play on PS4. So I just got my popcorn, and I'm just sitting over here enjoying this for everything it's worth.
So you have nothing noteworthy to add to the conversation.
I mean, like I said, if anything, it showed me how entitled PC gamers are.
So when PC gamers complain about anti-consumer practices, when they try to stand up to corporations who are plaguing the platform that they enjoy playing games on, that's entitlement. But of course, you're a console peasant. You don't see anti-consumerism. You embrace it. You roll in the mud of anti-consumerism. And you're grateful to corporations.
I mean, here you are. You got to download a free launcher. Free. Takes maybe 2 minutes to download and install, if even that long. Probably takes like a minute to download and install. Now, you know what I would have to do if I wanted to go play, let's say an exclusive on Xbox? I would have to pay $200 to do that.
Well, shit. Thanks for reminding us how shitty the console market is.
You can go play Borderlands 3 on launch for free. Well, I mean, minus how much you pay for the game. But yeah, you can do it for free.
And to this, I would say you have a point. It is absolutely easy for me to go download the Epic Games Store. It's super easy for me to just open it up and start playing the games. You're not wrong about that. But it's the principle, the ethics of the whole situation. See, as a console-only gamer, you simply don't understand. How crazy would it be if Microsoft handed over tons of money to get Assassin's Creed pulled off of the PlayStation Store? Not saying it would happen, but let's say they could do that. And let's say they did do that. Let's say there are multiple games announced at E3 for all platforms, and it's advertised that those games will release on all platforms, but come during the month of launch, you find out at the last minute that the PlayStation version will be delayed by a year or two because Microsoft handed over money. That's the situation people are facing here. Although admittedly, it is much worse for you console guys because it involves having to buy a whole new system, like you said. Sucks to be a console gamer, but we don't want an ounce of that on the PC. If you are not developing and making your own games and publishing it on your own client, going out of your way to make it so that third-party games don't release on your competitor's storefront isn't beneficial to consumers. It's a hindrance. It makes the platform worse.
And that brings me to my next point. You wonder why these developers are trying to score exclusivity deals?
Because Epic Games is handing them over buttloads of cash, guaranteeing them profit even if the game doesn't sell as well as it would elsewhere?
It's because of all these people talking about pirating the game.
Yes. Are you high or just incredibly stupid? I assure you, I am not high.
What? No, obviously not. Had that been an issue, all these developers would be moving their games over to Origin, or GOG, or Battle.net. But you know why they aren't? Because neither of those clients or companies are giving them money up front to have their games locked to their platform. Making money off exclusivity deals does no good for the consumer. Making money off of sales and purchases from consumers across multiple platforms is far better to the developer. But they would rather have a payday up front than reach those sales over time. Epic Games is encouraging developers to take money up front, and in return, give the finger to the consumers. And on top of that, these developers all come up with bullshit reasons as to why they're moving to the Epic Games. They tell you the Epic Games Store is good for the consumer, And then you look at all the missing features and realize that these developers are bullshitting you.
It's like, what? Like, on one hand, you sit here and not like these developers trying to get this money is selfish or something. And on the same hand, you're saying they can't justify it and you're going to go pirate the game. It's like, what? Do you not see why them trying to get money is a good thing?
Well, newsflash, you can make money and be pro-consumer at once.
Now, on console, this doesn't matter, so when they try to score exclusive deals, it is 100% about the money, but then again, they're in the business of making money, so yeah, light bulb. So next time you want to complain about a game not being on PC or not coming to PC, just remember it's because you brag about pirating the game as if that's supposed to make some kind of statement.
You say that as the PC gets the most amount of games out of all the platforms and generates the most amount of revenue and is the preferred platform for developers to publish on first. Huh, strange. You'd figure that if this was true, nobody would be publishing on the PC. But it's not true. You're just a bullshitter.
I think developers are well aware that PC players are going to pirate the game. Hence why there is no Red Dead Redemption on PC.
If piracy was an issue for Take-Two and Rockstar, GTA 5, LA Noire, GTA 4, Vice City, San Andreas, all these games will not have released on the PC. Clearly, Red Dead is on the horizon. Clearly, it's going to release on the PC. When? We don't know. But there's no way they wouldn't go for the PC.
Hence why every new AAA PC game is basically a live service game. You cannot pirate a live service game.
I legit don't know what he's talking about here. Maybe he's talking about things like League of Legends or World of Warcraft, but those are online multiplayer games, so they always have to be a service. I can play almost all AAA games on my PC just fine offline, so I have no idea what he means.
So yeah, all you entitled PC players out there, next time you want to complain about that Epic store, Epic is paying them the money that they may lose in your sales, so at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You think they're going to piss off you gamers and not get your sale if they don't have some kind of financial support?
No, Epic is bribing them. Epic is getting them to publish their games only on the Epic Game Store. Hell, not even only on the Epic Game Store. They're just going out of their way to make sure games don't go to Steam in general. It has nothing to do with potential lost sales. You know it, and I know it. Well, no, I know it. You're just being stupid.
So yeah, just keep on complaining. Keep on being the entitled little baby you are. But at the end of the day, no one's listening. Well, I mean, the important people, obviously, I'm listening. That's why I'm making this video. But let's be real. If your biggest problem is where you're going to get your $60 game from, you live a very entitled life. There is no two ways about it. You are entitled, you are spoiled, and you are everything I despise. That simple. So maybe it's time to grow up.
There's so much wrong said there at the end, I don't even know how I'm going to answer it. But I'll say this. Yes, PC gamers do have a problem with where they have to buy their games. How is that childish? How is that entitlement? If I have to go somewhere where there's risk of my personal information being sold to the Chinese government, if there is nothing as simple as a shopping cart, if there are missing features, if the storefront in general sucks, why would I want to go over there and buy games there? Especially when I find out that the games were pulled from Steam because the storefront gave money to developers to do it. That seems like sabotaging my personal experience, my consumer decision. It's a hindrance to me. It doesn't make my experience better. It makes it worse. And then there are dumbasses out there, people who play on console who just say yes. You're a yes man. You say yes to Sony, to everything, to their paid online, to their raising of the price of that paid online, to giving you strict access over your own hardware, to go out of their way to deny crossplay. If you have nothing meaningful to say, if you have nothing good to add to the conversation, stay on your console, let us point and laugh at you, while we over here try to do what we can to stop this anti-consumer bullshit. Because God knows when it comes to console peasants, they do nothing. Nothing. What an awful video. Absolutely stupid. Console peasants need to stay out of PC gaming affairs if they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Anyways, it's time I close the video. Go check out Patreon. Follow me on Twitter, Twitch, and until then, I'll be seeing all of you and your gorgeous sexy faces very soon.
Fritanga sucks ass.